This is my second preseason show. And I want to talk about how, Black love, people say doesn't exist. And absolutely it does, because the two of you are the epitome of it. Black love does exist, especially if you mind your business and drink your tea.
Thank you.
Right.
And Black love can exist, but we want to add everybody in. We want to put it on Facebook. We want to have it. You'll hear me say this again. We want to have it here. We want to have it there. We want our sisters, our mamas, our brothers involved. And we wonder why we can't have a relationship. This episode of Determined Women of Destiny celebrates love. How in the face of adversity, love conquers all. Hope springs eternal, and love will always, always, always win in the end. Hey, good people, it's Yvonne, the Motivator Man, and you are checking out Determined Women of Destiny. Before we go any further, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm still trying to get more subscribers. I want to do that TikTok that says, hey, wait a minute. So you guys can help me do that. Today, my guests, and I will call them the way I know them, Cam and Bam. They will tell you their official names. And this is my second preseason show. And because it is the month of love, this show is called This Thing Called Love. We've heard that Black love doesn't exist. We don't have relationships that are sustainable. That is a lie. And these two right here are living proof. And not only are they living proof, they lived out their truth on their own network on a reality show. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about the show. Hello, Cam and Bam, to the show. How are y'all today? I'm excited to have you.
Yay. Hi.
How you doing? How's everybody doing? Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us on board.
Always a pleasure.
So please, Cam, tell us your real name, your government.
So we affectionately go by Cam and Bam, but my real name is Kamisha, but everyone calls me Cam.
All right.
Okay, and Bam, you gonna give us your government, or you just gonna? Yeah. Okay.
No, it's all good. It's all good. My name is Rashad Worthy, and depending on how you know me, you're gonna either know me by that name or you're gonna know me by Bam. So it's all good,
How did you guys meet?
So actually we met. Funny thing real quick about our nicknames. So my nickname has always been Cam. His was always Bam. When we met, we were like, Cam and Bam? It's meant to be. It's meant to be. That's it. That's what made it. But the way we met, so I moved out here to New York probably about 4 years ago. And I was solicited to direct a play. He was in that play. And that's how we met. We fell in love doing what we love doing. And it started as a friendship. And then we realized we were great partners, so we would write together. And then that blossomed into the love story that we see today.
Okay. So tell us a little bit more about that play where you met. Now you said you were asked to work on that play.
Yes.
As a director, and he was an actor.
Yeah, that's right. He fell in love with his boss.
So much for the office romance, right?
Yeah, he fell in love with his boss. But it was actually the play was called Recovery Room. That was back in 2017, 18-ish.
It's been a minute.
Been a while,
It's been a minute. There's a few people that's gonna take credit for introducing us, but
yeah, we have a lot of people that invited me or involved me in the production always take credit for us meeting. So
it's a cool thing that we got going on. But yeah, that's exactly what happened. She came in to direct. She had great energy. I liked her coaching style. I liked her directing style. And seeing the passion that she had, it helped. It helped overall the project. And me, myself, I'm passionate, and I was passionate about the project.
Yeah.
Because the project was, it was actually it was written by one of my great friends, Nicole Hudson. And there's a whole crew of us who, you know, we've been putting plays on a long time. So it was just, she was a breath of fresh air to come in because Nicole had passed away. So we were like, it felt like we were kind of like missing something. And, you know, when Cam came in, it helped. It was like that piece that was missing, you know, not to say like, you know, it replaces Nicole, but I'm sure Nicole was, you know, smiling down and happy because we brought it back to life.
Yeah.
But Cam came in and she directed, she gave her 2 cents, so to speak. She gave us her thoughts about how we should do things, she related to the actors. And one of the things that I had noticed about Cam would be like, she would agree with you. She compliments you, right? Now I gotta tell she compliments she compliment the actors, but then she said, I do like this. And so what I'm saying is, when you're in a rehearsal and you're watching everything going on, like, you got to remember, we're doing a production, so it's from beginning to end. So to watch Cam come in and just like dive all the way in, I loved it. It was attractive to me, you know. I don't know what the theater word is, but I was attracted to it because she was doing what I love, and I could relate.
Right.
You know, so that's how it is.
Yeah, and then for me, as first of all, a new person in New York and a new person to this group, Rashad, he gave me so much support in that newness. And then, like I said, we really organically became friends because so what I do for a living outside of theater, my profession, I'm a human resources professional. So number one rule, conflict. We don't date people that we work with, right? But he and I, it was so organic. It was a breath of fresh air, I think, for both of us at that time in our lives. We needed that, and it was just the right fitting puzzle piece.
Because I was actually directing as well, so it gave me a break. So that's why, again, like I was saying, you know, that I enjoyed seeing her. It was a breath of fresh air in so many different ways. But that's how we got together. It was on a stage play, and from there we're here. You know?
And my face is just hurting because I'm just smiling. It's just so cute, and it's organic, and you can just it's just coming through. It's just like, I'm feeling like I want to be in love too now. Oh my goodness! And you know, to have two creatives together, you know, that's just like doesn't happen, you know, because you clash, you know, but you guys have found a way to have your creative essence come together, and instead of it clashing, it just mixes well, you know.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, thankfully. Yeah.
But thankfully, but I do want to be real. We do clash because we're creative. We see the world differently. Everyone's perception shapes their reality. But I think what makes us great partners is that we can communicate, and that's in our personal life and professional life. We can communicate with each other, find that common ground, and understand where the other is coming from instead of knocking down that idea. Back to the way I do things. That sounds great, but that's my approach, right? The sandwich method, but it's sincere, it's genuine on both levels.
Yeah, she's definitely HR, and I am different than HR. She's like PG. I don't have to be politically correct. So, you know, I guess it's that yin and yang. Yeah. Pretty much.
Like that has got to be the coolest thing that, you know, you hear a lot of people say that the last thing they'd want to do is work with someone that they love. And you guys are doing it and showing us that it can successfully be done. And Cam, you said it best, you know, it's the communication that, you know, brings the two of you together, that you have great communication. So listen, people, if your relationship is rocky, maybe you guys need to take a moment, step back, and just start talking and listening to each other and find each other's love language because
Yeah.
we all have one. And if you're not talking to your partner's love language, you're not talking.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just not happening. Now, it's funny. I met the two of them a play. Uh, I saw an ad on Facebook, and as you know, and as most of you who watch, I've called you and said, "Hey, you're doing something. Do you need a host?" And Rashad was like, "Well, I tell you what, we're looking at someone else, but we'll give you a call back." So I was like, okay, no worries, no worries. I didn't hear anything back. I called him. I'm like, hey, I have a show. And at that time I was on Church Talk Radio. And I said, why don't you just come and talk about your show? And he was like, cool. So we came to talk about Through Crystal Eyes.
Yes.
And that's where I met both of you. And he just talked about domestic violence. And that's what the play was centered around. It was in the month of October. And it just discussed, domestic violence in a way that it was digestible for anybody from the age of 8 to 80. It's an excellent play. I can't wait for COVID to be, lifting a little bit more so you
Us too.
do it again, because everybody needs to see something like this. Even if you haven't experienced domestic violence, someone who may have or will. And if, you haven't experienced it, but you meet someone, you will be given some stuff that you can take away and be like, hey, listen, I saw this play and they discussed A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Maybe you should go get help. Because a lot of times we don't know we're in abusive relationships because we're so used to the toxicity.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
And Rashad and I spoke at length about domestic violence when it comes to men.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't look at it. They look at, oh, he hit her, or he refused to give her money, or he sexually overpowered her. But they never look at the fact that women abuse men every day, all day. And I'm going to have a show about it. Rashad, you're going to help me with it because we talked about it many times.
Good job.
So the fact that they came together on that play, and their creative essence came together to be creative on that one also, and I mean, you guys did a fabulous, fabulous job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you did it. You did as well.
Yeah.
Because you came, you hosted, and you rocked out backstage as well.
Fit right in, missing piece.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's beautiful how things have worked out.
It was a really great, it was a great day, and I enjoyed it. So I'm going to go to break, and when we come back from break, we're going to talk a little bit more about your love affair and how this great love affair took you to television.
Okay.
So you guys, make sure you come back. Go get you some iced tea, maybe a piece of chicken, but make sure you come back.
All right. See you.
My name is Kamisha Farkason, CEO and founder of Concrete HR Solutions, LLC, a consulting firm providing concrete solutions for all of your HR needs. Here at Concrete, our mission is to enhance our clients' opportunities for success. We ensure that the right numbers of the right people are in the right jobs at the right time with the right training, all while promoting positive employee relations and making sure that you remain compliant. We understand that human resources is the support arm of an organization. It's about driving efficient business results, driving your mission through effective people management and minimizing risk. What sets us apart is that Concrete is not only for small businesses. We provide solutions for employees and job seekers as well. It all begins with a conversation. Head on over to concretehrsolutionsllc.com today to book your first 10-minute consultation. The people within your organization are your most important investment. And here at Concrete, we are in the business of taking care of your investment.
Hey, good people, we are back. If you're just now tuning in, this is Determined Women of Destiny. I'm your host, Yvonne, the Motivator Man, and my guest is Cam and Bam.
Hey, everybody.
Right.
Alicia and Rashad. And before break, we were talking about their great love affair, how they met. And now we're going to tell you, well, they're going to explain to you how that love was noticed and then evolved into going to the OWN network and telling their story. So, Cam, start us off. Let us know how you guys ended up on the OWN network. Tell us the name of the show.
Yeah.
What it's about.
So we were actually invited to be a part of Family or Fiancé. So that is a series on the OWN network. We were on season 2, episode 17. And the reason being, so we were engaged, right? But there were some factors. So one, his family didn't know.
Oh.
2, yeah, they didn't know. And part reason because, and then this is more his story to tell, but when he and I met, and still to today, he was going through like a custody battle with the mother of his children. So that caused a strain. He and his mother, that relationship became strained. And then because of that, a lot of his family didn't know of our engagement. In addition to that, I have a health condition called multiple sclerosis, which is a disease of my brain and central nervous system. So it's a debilitating disease. And all of those factors coupled with the fact that we were truly in love, the producer saw that, they invited us to the show. So it was a really great experience. I'll let Rashad take over because a lot of the show has to do with his relationship with his mother. And I'll let him tell his story.
Okay, Rashad. Now, Pam said, it was the producer. How did you even meet the producer?
Well,
Come to be about.
So I'm always working. I'm always getting out here. Half the time, if you see me or you don't see me, I'm out here working. I don't really hang out a whole lot, but my hangout, it kind of looks like I'm hanging out, but I'm working. If you catch my drift, it's just, I'm around people a lot. Mm-hmm. So even though we're out here producing plays and everything, and the talk show and just doing so many different things, I'm still out here going to castings, and I just love it. So anyhow, long story short, as Cam mentioned, the producers, they liked our story and decided to say, all right, let's give it a go. So it was actually I don't know, it might have been like maybe a few months, the process.
It's a pretty long process.
Yeah, we had a lot of different meetings. So, I had a lot of different meetings. What I liked about it was it had a lot of different meanings for me personally. As Cam mentioned, I was going through a lot. I had a lot on my plate. I'm pretty much of a quiet person. I keep a lot to myself, right? So I don't advertise everything that I do and what I'm going through. So if you know me and you're like really in my circle, you most likely but if it's just social media that you look at, you would never know what I'm going through. So a lot of people don't even know I got kids because I kind of keep them off the internet. But what happened was, with everything that I was going through, part of me felt like I wasn't giving Cam all of me. Mind you, we're together, we both know what each other is going through. But I felt like, and I had told Cam that I wanted to tell the world on a big stage.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
That was my thing, because with me going through so much, I felt like we didn't have a lot of time to celebrate, so to speak. And again, it was, I was so happy that she understood a lot that I was going through, and she didn't like give me a fuss. And she understood. She knew our love was real. My love for her was real.
Mm-hmm.
I knew her love for me was real. And with all of these different factors, we enjoyed each other, but something just felt missing. Mm-hmm. So like I said, I had always said, I wanted the world to know, and I wanted it to be on a big stage. So when that opportunity came, that was it. I said, this is it. Talking to producers, my whole thing when I told everybody, we weren't going into this to be ratchet. Like, I know we see a lot of that, but that was my number one goal. We're going to represent us well. Mm-hmm. Because the world needs to see something different. They need to see that we are classy. We're smart. We don't have to go and wild out, because I know when you get into that market, mm-hmm. sometimes, the ratchetness sells. Right. But it sells because it was hot for a second and people kept doing it. Right. But I've always been the type of person that want to change the game. So I said, we're not going into it like that, because that's not, mm-hmm. it's not our style to do that. We're representing us well. So we went in there, we were still truthful. We were able to tell our story. And a lot was able to be put on the table.
Right. I think, and thank you for that. I think that what we gave, real life issue, real life problems. Right. Our story was real. Right. But what we showed was that we can have effective conflict resolution and communication and leave hand in hand. Essentially, that's what happened. Right. So, the producers, we had all these meetings, all these conversations, and they were excited and thrilled about our story. And then to his point, when you see these reality shows, you see a lot of fighting and cussing and arguing. So our story was real, but we gave them an ending they probably didn't think they would get. They thought it was going to probably be heat or arguments, but we were mature, emotional maturity. Right. We were able to communicate, right. And it was hard. It was some real stuff we were dealing with. I know for him, it was really hard. Yeah. The conversations, the therapies, it was hard, but we did it. And right. And he did give me that platform when we got the opportunity. He said, listen, I'm telling the world,
Yeah, so. For sure. Yeah. So, I know, viewers that watch, we got a lot of feedback. People talk all types of craziness about me, about people on the show.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, it's our whole life in 30 minutes.
Or 45, right.
Or 45 minutes. Our whole life condensed in 3 days, condensed in 45 minutes. So
that's a lot.
You get the
right,
edits,
right. So, you got to stay tuned for the rest. But at the end of the day, none of that bothered us.
Yeah, no.
Listening to the critics, because a lot of people were in favor of what we did. We got a lot of great results. Mm-hmm. It was a breath of fresh air, is what we heard. You're gonna get all types of feedback.
It's always criticism, especially when you. Right. We were brave. We went out there. We put our story out there. Yeah. Because we wanted to show that. Yeah. Conflict resolution exists.
Yeah, that we could we could behave in a mature way. Yeah. And I feel like we were successful. Right. We were successful in doing what we did. And we're waiting for Oprah to
give us another call.
Honestly, I have to applaud you for your bravery, because putting your story out there for everyone to see it. And like you said, you got some crazy feedback, but overall the feedback was very positive because you put a spin on the game. You said, we're not going to go out there and be what you always see us to be. We're going to be ourselves, and it's still going to be good. And it's that authenticity that makes people watch.
Yeah.
I tell you, drew me to your story, and I'm glad that you guys are here to tell her. You said, hey, I met a producer. All I do is work. And through my work, I met a producer. The producer talked about, hey, we're going to do this show on OWN. And you were like, listen, I would love to do that for the woman I'm in love with, because I just want everybody to know I love her. After having to be silent about it, so that the things in your life could calm down a little bit. And I mean, what a woman you are, Cam, that you were like, okay, yeah, I understand that. And said, oh no, you ain't gonna try and keep me here in what am I, your side shit? All of the stuff that could be said. I even had the head moving, didn't I?
You did. It's all right.
Right.
But all of the things that could be said. And Cam was like, let me look at this total picture here. Okay, I know what he's going through. So it's not that I won't be given my day. I just won't be given my day today.
Yeah.
And I know he loves me. See, that's one thing that we miss in relationships. We always want to live our lives out loud instead of living our lives.
Right.
If you just live, the music plays loud on its own, people.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Oh my God.
Yvonne, what it really boiled down to was that we were just happy. We were just happy doing what we did. People knew we were together, but they didn't know about the engagement, and with so much going on, it just felt like the engagement might be overshadowed by a lot of the other turmoil and things that was going on. And I didn't want that. She understood. Just wanted her to be celebrated at the right time, and not get overshadowed with the other things that were going on.
But I do want to say this, because those feelings that you just spoke about, Yvonne, like, oh no, he's keeping me in the shadows. It can happen, right? Because we're human. We have feelings, we have emotions. But I think maturity is, we talked about communication, but it's listening to understand. I was trying to understand where he was coming from. I looked at the bigger picture, and then I realized that we love each other. This is genuine. This is authentic. I'm not a side chick. You know what I mean? This is real.
Right.
And play the long game. Let it play itself out day by day by day, and then before you know it, your future is your past. And just for the viewers, because I know sometimes people interpret things wrong. Right.
But for the viewers, she's not saying she wasn't in the shadow.
Oh, yeah.
People, right, if you knew we dated, like my family knew she met them. I met her family. They knew we were dating. They just didn't know about the engagement part.
That we were turning it up a notch.
Right, I mean, some of our friends didn't know. Like you said, you didn't know. Yeah. So, and it's not that, it wasn't a secret. It's just, if you knew, you knew. You know what I mean? We didn't, if you just caught us at a certain moment, like when you finally did, you said, oh, that's all, But like she said, we had a bigger goal. We had a bigger goal, and we're definitely not done. So there's gonna be some more surprises.
The good part about this is, in the social media world that we're in, the Facebook, the Instagram, the Snapchat, the TikTok, all of that, especially for women, they feel that if they could go on these social medias and talk about the man that they're with, and he's okay with that, that means that, I'm number one and he loves me, until you see a picture of him with the next one, and now you're fighting on Facebook and all this other stuff. And wouldn't it be nice if by chance you have to be embarrassed, it would be like the old days, you would be embarrassed in privacy and not the lunatic out in social media?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've seen so much stuff on social media, and I'm like, are you serious? And before anybody says anything, those of you that know my daughter, yes, she has put some crazy stuff on there, but remember, my daughter's 36. She's 4 years from 40. That's her business, not mine, so shut up. I digress. I digress. What I'm talking about is, people that are fighting on Facebook over relationships.
Yeah.
And I don't see the big pull or push for that. It does happen. But if you keep your business to yourself, you know, and you guys did a wonderful job of that. Your love did not have to be expressed to all of us. Like Cam said, I know he loved me. I know he loves me, but I knew there were situations that we had to deal with and we had to move in a certain way. So because we discussed it, I was okay with it.
Right. Not only that, let me add, I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I am right now. I'm going to pat myself on the back. I showed it. It wasn't just talk.
Yeah,
I showed it.
That's what she did.
I showed it. But you know,
you gotta walk it like you're talking, and he did. And I think that's what brought, because I guess what I was trying to say is those thoughts come up, but if you have conversation and your partner gives you that security, then you're comfortable and you can move forward together. So he gave me that security. He was always genuine. We both were genuine with each other. And we understood that things needed to fizzle down a little bit, right?
So fellas, if you're listening, show your woman. Don't just tell them. Show her. And don't kiss and tell, gentlemen. Don't kiss and tell.
Yeah.
Hold the door for her. Help her take a coat off. Help her put a coat on. Pull a chair out. You know, buy flowers. Yeah. You know, spend quality time together. And I know gentlemen, y'all are, we hard workers. But sometimes you got to set some time aside. Take you out on a date. You know, I think I'll say this. I haven't been the best boyfriend in all my whole life, but I think I got it right this time around. I think I got it right this time around. Because I'll say this. I know sometimes we're not as engaged in our relationships when we date. And it's not that we don't want to be. I think sometimes as men, we get with a woman and we feel like, okay, I got it.
And that's it.
Comfortability.
Yeah.
Comfortability. I put my work in. I ain't got to work no more. I got it.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah. And I swear, I'm just being honest. And I can admit, my faults. And when, fellas, if we decide to date someone and we want to be in a relationship, then we should know that we're ready. This is what we want to do. If we're not ready, then don't do it. Be honest to say, listen, I'm not ready for a relationship. Because in all honesty, fellas, I'm going to tell you something. Some women these days don't want the relationship either. You might be putting yourself in something that neither one of you want to be in. You might just be able to get away with cordial dating.
This is so good, but I have to go to break. So hold on, and we're coming back, and we're going to talk about the actual show. But we're going to go back with, know what you're doing before you get into it, so nobody gets hurt. So you guys definitely come back. This last segment is going to be everything. Make sure to check out season 2 of Family or Fiancé on the OWN television network. All of the juicy details that couldn't be discussed on today's show, you will be able to see on season 2. So make sure you tune in and tell Oprah I say, hey girl, hey. Hey everybody, I am back and I'm so glad you are. Your support is my encouragement and it keeps me doing what I'm doing. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. This show is everything that you need to know about being in a relationship. So if you're just now tuning in, you're checking out Determined Women of Destiny. I'm Yvonne, the Motivated Man. My guest is Cam and Rashad. And you make sure you catch this from the beginning because this was so good. And before we went to break, Rashad was talking about how important it is that if you're going to be in a relationship with someone, be all in, know what you're doing. So Rashad, I just want to go back to what you were saying, had to cut you off because of break. I got to pay, I got to pay the bills. I pay the bills. So please go back to that because as women, we need to hear exactly what a man is thinking when it comes to relationships because we have this pie in the sky and these rose-colored glasses and, yes, and this is going to happen and that's going to happen. It's going to be beautiful. And just because you saw it on TV and it worked for Heather Headley on Sweet Magnolias doesn't mean it's going to work for you, because that's TV, you know, and
Right.
you were talking about that real thing. So please continue.
Right. So fellas, I definitely say, if you're gonna get involved in a relationship, be ready. Make sure you've healed from anything that you've gone through. Make sure that you feel you're in the right headspace to go into a relationship. You know, I know sometimes us men, we want to have ourselves financially stable so we can, so quote unquote, provide our women with the world and everything, you know. And sometimes that's not necessary, but just being there and being you know, in the relationship, being in the moment with your partner, you know, is really what it's all about. I think sometimes we live in a world where we just got this fantasy that we have to be perfect.
Absolutely.
And you know, I know I'm not perfect. And me personally, like I tell Kim all the time, I thank her for loving me, because I know I'm not perfect, you know, but she accepts me for who I am, and we build together. Like, you know, she knows I'm not at my ceiling, you know. So the things that I want to do, I'm working towards it. I'm still not where I want to be. Like, there's so much more things that I want to do. And when we, even her, you know, not to speak her story, but we're both still striving at certain things together and individually. But we support each other. And I think that's like really been so important and a huge key to our success.
I want to talk to you what Rashad said about how, you know, men want to give, you know, the woman in their life the world. And, you know, really, we don't want the world. We just want you. You know, would you rather have a dozen of roses every time you have an argument, or Friday after you get that haircut, smelling the way he smelled, and just he stopped off at 7-Eleven because he thought of you? You know, all of this materialistic stuff that we buy into that we think is going to make us happy, you know, that doesn't make us happy. We want to know that we have someone to depend on, someone who's going to provide, someone who's going to profess. And I know I sound like Steve Harvey, but I was saying it years before Steve even came out with it, and women thought I was crazy. Because if a man wants a woman, she won't have to ask anybody. He will let her know. And I want you. I want you in my life. I'm getting ready to crawl over glass in hell with got some drawers on, and if I catch on fire, I catch on fire, but I'll just be burnt up when I get to you, girl. You know? And you know,
listen, pursuit is the evidence of desire.
Ooh, child, I like that. Y'all got that? Say that again, Cam.
Pursuit is the evidence of desire.
Come on now, anything worth having is worth working for.
For sure.
Go for
And
it.
relationships are work. Don't think that you're gonna be in a relationship and not put work in it. Then you're definitely gonna be single shortly.
Yes.
You know, it is just like when people say, well, you know what, I want to be a parent. Okay. And you know you're not throwing it in a circle no more. You know you're not hanging. You know you have to do this. You'll be going to bed early so you can wake up early, and all the stuff you used to do. And then when I hear young girls say, nah, I'm gonna keep living my life, don't have no babies. Don't have no babies, because them babies are gonna suffer because you don't understand what it is for commitment. You know? So okay, here we are. We're at OWN. We're on the set. Tell us about this show and tell us exactly the story that you gave everybody.
Oh man. First off, it was the house we stayed in was beautiful.
Amazing.
Man.
Amazing home. It was a mansion.
Yeah, it was great. You know, everybody that we brung with us, they were really influential people in our lives. You know, there's more.
Well,
but
let's explain the premise of the show for those that's never watched Fiancé. So what the show consists of a couple.
Right.
They're invited to this mansion, and individually they have to invite, members of their family.
Right.
Now, everyone will spend about 3 days in this mansion, and during that time, there are therapy sessions.
Mm-hmm.
You play games with the other family members to try and get to know each other better.
Right.
And pretty much the goal at the end of those 3 days is to receive the blessing from each and every person you brought with you for your marriage.
Right.
So that's the premise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was really a fun time. Pretty much, it's basically your own set. There's cameras everywhere. And it basically captures everything that's going on. And we had what, maybe breakfast, lunch, dinner. We always ate together.
Yeah.
Who did you invite? We chefed. On my side, I had my cousin Da and my cousin Sam, as well as my mom. On Cam's side, she had her mom, her dad, and
my best friend,
one of her BFFs, Paris. And actually, our crew was so dope. Like, that's the great energy that we talk about. Mm-hmm. Because when you keep genuine people around you, good energy matches good energy. So if you haven't watched the episode on the Home Network, get a chance to take a look at it, and you'll see what we're talking about. And there's so much more that you didn't see, but what you see is a testament to how the days went. You get the picture. But the show, like she said, is based on two families getting to know each other, and the potential bride and groom getting the blessings from their family. And it didn't always work out from what we hear.
From what we saw too. I saw a couple episodes. I said, "Woo!" Yeah. But they were the produce. I'll say this. Can I even say this about what they told us afterwards?
I don't know. But the producers are great people.
Okay, they're great.
Segue, the producers are great.
They're great people.
Because we don't know.
So pretty much,
you can imagine the things that
so
happen in life. And after a show like this, if you watched an episode, what it may be like once the cameras are off. But
it was a great experience.
Now there was talk of Rashad, you and your mom.
Yeah, we have a situation where we went into that situation where we weren't speaking for a while because I wasn't in agreement with some things. Okay. And on the show, you'll see what happens and what it was about. And I got some advice from
Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy, the therapy counselor that we saw. So what happens is pretty much every day, Tracy, who's the therapist who speaks to us, the therapy counselor. Am I even using the right term?
Just say therapist.
So Tracy, we meet with Tracy every day, and we talk about what's going on in our lives and how our families feel. So Tracy was awesome. Mm-hmm. I had never met Tracy before. We never met Tracy before.
She's really good.
Yeah, I
very
agree.
Good. Like
I agree.
Real deal. I mean, I'm telling you, like the reality TV. When you think of it, you're like, oh, this is stage. No, it's real. It's real life. And this therapist.
She was not Hollywood. Right.
And the thing is, Rashad doesn't even agree with therapy. He doesn't want to do it. And when we sat down to speak with her, he thought twice about it. He said, as long as it's her.
Exactly. I will admit that. Yeah. Because she was really that good.
And there's a lot that the show does not show, right? But she was able to really deep dive during those sessions with us.
Right. As you'll see.
And for good reason, because when you watch the show, you'll see it was some hard conversations that needed to happen.
Right.
And she helped us get to that point.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but as we said, we spoke with Tracy every day. She had gave us some exercises that we would do throughout the day. And we come back the following day, talk about how the exercises went, and then she'd give us another exercise. So it was basically a process for us to dive in and open and address different situations, different issues that were going on, that had been talked about and basically was put on the table.
Yeah.
So when you watch the episode, you see how it all plays out, so to speak. And again, I stand behind her. She's really good at what she does. And she is not Hollywood. She really is the real deal.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in and think, one thing for me that I loved about our episode or our show or our experience was the fact that two families literally came together. Our families have never met.
Right.
So everything that you saw was organic. Everything was authentic. Even with me talking to his family, although they knew me,
right?
They didn't know that we turned it up a notch in our relationship. Right. So now this is going to be a family member to them. So they were getting to know me better.
Right.
Rashad had built a rapport with my family, but they were able to ask him more pressing questions because to his point, he's very private. So they didn't know a lot, like the extent of things that were happening, but we really enjoyed each other. And the fact that our families clicked, it reminded me of when we met and how we clicked. It's like everything fit together.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But in the show, you'll see there's some hard questions. There's some tough things that get discussed. It wasn't all pretty, but there were no fights. There were no fights. We all left in good standings. It was for me, again, I was at a point where I needed a lot to get addressed. And that was the stage for it. And you see me, I'm a cool person, but I get a little upset. I'm not happy about some things. And I'm just not the type to just say, okay, well, yeah, all right, I'll do it. No, I just think some things, when people are wrong. And, from the conversations with my mom, conversations with my cousin, even, things that you hear Cam's father say, Cam's mom say, like, there are a lot of things that get said because there's an elephant in the room that needs to get addressed with different things. And for me, again, it was the moment for me to just put my life out there. This was the one moment, this stage, I put my life out there, and I felt like I was going about it the right way, so to speak, if I may say that. I don't like to be disrespectful. So me being silent about certain things was my way of being respectful and just walking away from some people.
Right. Well, I didn't, the Bible says we overcome by the telling of our testimony. So I think his story, and then I don't know how deep you want to get right now, but just everything that was expressed in the show was hard. It was real life. It was real hard stuff. Yeah. And the inception of the show, we talked about domestic violence and how men experience it. And the things you were going through was some real hard stuff. And you showed that. You showed that, hey, I'm here. I'm going through it. I'm getting through it. This is what I'm doing. And this is how we can solve it. So.
Yeah.
I think the two of you, because you were so comfortable with each other and you were so comfortable with your communication, that opened the door for your families to feel comfortable too. Because if you two had friction, then they were going to have friction.
Right.
But you guys probably made it. They may not even said it to you, but my family's the Hatfields and the McCoys. So I'm telling you, they were very happy that you guys opened that door for an open, loving communication, especially the first time they're meeting. Like, I didn't know this was their first time meeting. Wow. Yeah. And then they meet on a reality show with a therapist. You know, that's open-minded. Like, you know, I'm a little bit older, so my mother is older. My mom would have been like, baby, mama ain't gonna do that. You just gonna have to tell Oprah. I said, hey, Oprah. You know, because that just is just not something, you know, and even now that people are open to. So the fact that your family said, we love both of you enough that we'll do this. Yeah. Wonderful. Now, here is the big question that I know everybody's at. Did you meet Oprah? Did you meet her? What type of person is she? Nice? Is she pretty up close?
We can't divulge that information. Sorry. We signed papers.
I know, just like everybody else, we want to know, did you meet Oprah? You had lunch with Oprah?
Yeah, it was a great experience.
Mm-hmm. It was great. Fun. Tell us how we can catch this show again, because, you know, for everybody who's in love and everybody that's in a relationship, and you may be struggling a little bit and, you know, communication may not be there. I mean, throughout this whole show, you were able to see this couple communicate so well to each other, you know, that their love is just present. You know, it's just in the room with them. It's not something that, you know, they have to pull out of something and bring it. It's in the room.
Yeah.
So tell us how we can see this show.
Well, you can catch the show. It's streaming on the OWN network, or if you have cable, the OWN network, if they play reruns, or if you have Discovery Plus, which is a new streaming app, it's there as well. And then, of course, YouTube. So YouTube, if you go to YouTube and type in OWN, they show little clips, and then eventually they'll play the full episode.
Okay, great. So I tell all of you, check that out. What's this thing called Love? This thing called Love is pretty doggone great.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're single like I am, don't you give up and don't you give in and don't you settle just because you're lonely or you feel you're getting older. This thing called love is real and it's out there for everyone who wants it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I did that shameless plug, right? I'm like, and being single like me. So I want to say happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And, you know, just go out there and let your love light shine. Don't be afraid. You can't love scared.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, yeah. And if you're not going to put both boots in the ring, don't even start to play.
Yeah. Love is action. Love is movement. Don't be afraid to move.
All right now.
Happy Valentine's Day to all you lovers and all y'all that want to be loved.
Well,
put on some Teddy P.
Yep. Turn on the light. Click.
Put on whoever it is that you love to hear and get into the mood.
Okay, love and happiness.
There you go. You know, I'm telling
you. You wanna do right? Listen,
and I'll give you this tip, fellas. All you gotta do sometimes is just let the music speak for you.
Oh,
that's it. Let the music speak for you.
All right. We don't have the 8 tracks no more, but you make sure you have, you know, that playlist running.
There you go. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Tell really good romantic songs going on. Cameron Bam, thank you so much for being on Determined Women of Destiny. Everyone, thank you for watching this show. Like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, good people, keep doing what you're doing until what you're doing gets done. Peace and blessings. Peace.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for having us. Peace.